So dear learner, welcome again to our continuing lessons in human resource management. In our last lesson, we had looked at the separation strategy, and we had initially looked at the forms of employee separation. We introduced and looked at redundancies. We also looked at dismissals, stroke discharge, and today we are going to look at another area, which is retirement. Our lesson today is on retirement. So this area of retirement within a working environment may be contained in the terms and conditions of service that an employee signed with the employer. And retirement in the working context, dear learner, refers to an employee coming to the end of their working life, and this is how it's looked at. So retirement is the time when an employee comes to the end of his or her working life in an organization. So the concept of retirement, this is the time when an employee comes to the end of his or her working life in an organization. Now, what this means, an organization may have, for example, indicated that at the age of 55 years, an employee may opt maybe for retirement. At the age of 60 years, this becomes now the mandatory retirement age. So an employee may opt at the age of 50, or the employee may have to retire at the age of 60 years. So that then becomes the retirement age. There are basically two types of retirement. Now, one, you have what you call voluntary retirement. Voluntary retirement, and two, mandatory retirement. We have just given an example. An employee may opt to retire, and when it comes to mandatory retirement, this one is not optional. Once an employee reaches that particular age, that particular employee has to retire. So in terms of the administration of the retirement separation process, dear learner, the guidance will be based on organizational policy, and also agreements of employment. When employees enter into a contract of employment, it is indicated within the contract of employment how separation may occur based on the aspect of retirement. So again, as it were, different levels, different ages of retirement exist. Some organizations may even have, say, 70 years, like for example, those associated like with the judiciary. Judicial officers may be able at a particular category retire at the age of 70. There are also organizations where it is also 74 years. So this again depends on the terms and conditions and organizational policy or the legal framework within that particular context. So this is the aspect of retirement within organizational setting, and you need to familiarize yourself because you may be involved in the process of carrying out these particular policy decisions, or as an employee, you may reach a point where you want to make certain decisions regarding your retirement. Then there is the aspect of resignation. 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 So, resignation is normally initiated from the part of the employee. This is where an employee may provide, for example, give a notice to the employer that I would want to terminate my services by a given period of time. So resignation is the termination of an employment contract of service by an employee. So resignation is the process of termination of a contract of employment by an employee. So this is a situation where the same way an employer can be able to terminate the services of an employee, this is now an employee on their side also having the option to terminate a contract of employment. So this is initiated by the employee, and the employee may put in a resignation, and that resignation may require a particular procedure, for example, to be followed in relation to that arrangement. Then you also have what you call types of resignations. Types of resignations. So types of resignations, you may have what is referred to as voluntary resignation. Voluntary resignation. And two, involuntary resignation. So what is meant by voluntary resignation, Lana, is that voluntary resignation is where the employee themselves, on their own volition, tender a resignation or provide a notice to resign. When it comes to involuntary resignation, this is where the employee may be encouraged by the employer to put in a resignation, and in most cases, this is done on a mutual basis. And it's normally to assist the employee access particular benefits, because if the employee is dismissed, the employee may lose certain benefits. So in the mutual agreement between the employee and the employer, an employee may be requested to put in a resignation, which is referred to as an involuntary resignation by the employee, so that it could end the employment contract on a mutual basis. Now, what could be some of the reasons why employees may resign? Reasons for employee resignation. So what could be some of the reasons? You could be asking yourself, dear learner, what could be some of the reasons why an employee could tender a resignation? So one of them could be better employment prospects. An employee could resign from a given job to be able to access a better job elsewhere. Two, unfavorable working conditions. The prevailing conditions in a given organization may not be favorable to a given employee, and that could lead to an employee tendering a resignation for the sake of moving on. And then you have three training and development. So an employee could resign from an organization to go maybe and further their education or to access a training program that the employer may not be able to be interested in, and the employee has no other alternative. So they may want to be able to leave an organization. There are also what you call personal reasons. Personal reasons. An employee may argue that for their own personal reasons that may be confidential, they may want to resign from a given working environment. And then number 5, hostile supervision. So where the supervision within an organization is hostile to workers, that could make employees leave that kind of a work environment because of the hostility in relation to that. Then 6, lack of promotion opportunities. Then number 7, climatical conditions. And employees, for example, an employee may not be able to operate effectively in a given climatical condition or environment, and that could also lead to an employee to move. Also the aspect of lack of promotion opportunities. An employee has been in a given position maybe for say 20 years, for instance. So that kind of a worker may have a feeling they may retire without accessing any promotional opportunity. Then number 8, old technology. So if an employee, especially younger employees, may want to be associated with, say, new technology, for instance, and an organization is using obsolete technology, then that could make employees to leave so that they can go and work in organizations that are having modern technology in terms of working and so on. So this could be some of the reasons. There is also the element of poaching by other employers. There is also the issue of poor performance, poor organizational performance. So an organization, for example, that has been performing very well on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, its, for example, value could start going down, and workers have a feeling that maybe this kind of an organization is collapsing. So workers will want to leave when the organization is still maybe not performing very well, so that they could go to other places. And then there is the element of poaching, maybe for talent by other organizations. So that again could be one of the reasons that can make workers move or resign from a given work environment. So in our lesson today, Lana, we have looked at separation, forms of employee separation, and we were looking at retirement, where we have indicated that retirement is the time when an employee comes to the end of his or her working life in an organization. It may be 55 years, it may be 60 years, it may be 70, maybe 74 years. Types of retirement, we have indicated that you have 1, voluntary retirement, then 2, mandatory retirement. And when it comes to resignation, we have indicated that resignation is the process of termination of a contract of employment which is initiated by an employee. And there are various types of resignations, and we have indicated that there is what you call voluntary resignation, number 1, and number 2, involuntary resignation. And then we have gone further and looked at some of the reasons why employees may resign from organizations, and we have indicated that 1, employees may resign to be able to access better employment prospects. Number 2, unfavorable working conditions in an organization. And number 3, training and development opportunities elsewhere. Number 4, personal reasons. Number 5, hostile supervision. Number 6, lack of promotion opportunities. Number 7, unfavorable climatical conditions. Number 8, old or obsolete technology. Number 9, poaching of employees by other employers, maybe for talent. And number 10, poor organizational performance of a given entity. Those could be some of the 10 reasons that may make employees resign from organizations. So dear learner, before we end our lesson today, you have an assignment that you need to do to be able to enhance assimilation of this knowledge. And your assignment for today's lesson is discuss the reasons that may make employees to resign from an organization. So dear learner, this is your assignment. Discuss the reasons that may make employees to resign from an organization. So we have looked at our lesson today, which has been forms of employee separation. We have looked at retirement, types of retirement, resignation, and reasons why employees may resign from working for a given organization. And we have also looked at an assignment. So thank you very much for being attentive in our lesson today.